Today's video is going to be another naughty list video, or tough love list as I think I'm going to rename it. And it's going to be for the Pro Rush Derailleur, because this, well, that's not normal. Before we get into that, let me just tell you what the Pro Rush is. If you're new here, we always want to be all at the same pace, all at the same level so we all understand. The Pro Rush came out in 2020. First arrived on the Schwinn boundary as a 7-speed. Now this is an 8-speed Pro Rush, which was an even bigger deal when it came out on the Schwinn Taft. The difference is the freewheel. The 7-speed freewheel is a 13 to 38 tooth, I believe. And this 8-speed a 13 to 40 tooth, making it the widest range freewheel that I am aware of on the market. A big deal. You know, these, I mean, they're freewheels, so they're heavy, but they're not as heavy. I've had cassettes that are equally as heavy, so not bad here. And also the Pro Rush, a big deal when it came out because of this. That is a clutch. If you don't know what a clutch is, that's what it normally looks like. Sitting on the bike, shift it, and it moves this arm back and forth, up and down to shift on these gears. There's tension here, but this is about the same amount of tension as on, say, a Shimano Tourney. But if I flip, so what happens with that is if I'm riding over rough terrain, this can bounce. Really rough terrain, and it can cause to go from, say, gear 2 to gear 6 accidentally from this bouncing. Activate the clutch. And look at that. I mean, I can force it, but it is definitely some torque to do so, and that really keeps, I mean, it takes really rough terrain to make this move thanks to the clutch. When this came out, I was so happy about this, to see this. Finally a group set we could get away from the 14 to 28 tooth free wheels. As you know, we're stuck at 14 to 28 tooth. We had the mega range we could upgrade to, 14 to 34 tooth, but 13 to 40, a big deal. And when I first got this, I made a video at that first Schwinn boundary. I don't know if it was the boundary. It was one of the first 3 bikes that I had. I made a video where 2 of the 3 worked perfect. But one of them, the clutch arm was loose. And I had to go in, factory instructions, take this cover off, go in, put some Loctite on a screw, and tighten it back down. It was coming loose. And that actually helped Schwinn, and it helped Pro Rush. Had a contact from Pro Rush contact me, thanked me about that. They were able to cut down on some incidences. And by the way, I want to mention, you saw the Pro Rush first here on KevCentral. I was the first one to show it to you on that Schwinn boundary, that very first 2020 Schwinn boundary. But they fixed that, and it worked fine for roughly a year and a half. Random reports here and there, but I mean, stuff's going to break. A few jockey wheels come out here and there, but seen that happen on every derailleur setup. No one that I know of is complaining about the freewheels. So many people wanting this, and that was why Pro Rush contacted me, not only about that issue, but they were going to bring this to market as an independent item. And then, of course, the world went crazy with everything that happened in 2020, and that got pushed, and they were even going to possibly rename it and get back with me, but I haven't heard from them, so don't know what's going on with that. But we still see these on not only the Schwinn bike, still in the Schwinn boundary, still on the Schwinn Taft, but also Mongoose bikes. The Ledge X1, the Ardor, the Ledge X2, obviously. Pro Rush, it's in a lot of places on Schwinn and Mongoose, and we're thankful for it. However, there are 2 things that I want to cover today about the Pro Rush. Number 1 is not the big deal of this video, the main topic, but it's something I want to clarify, because I have a lot of people contact me, and I've seen people talk about this Pro Rush system. Again, so many people wanting it. They're taking it off bikes or getting bikes that people have bought and upgraded and taken these parts and putting them on other bikes. And they've said that these Pro Rush derailleurs, that it's the same derailleur for the 7-speed and the 8-speed. That's untrue. This is a 7-speed Pro Rush derailleur. This is an 8-speed group set. Here, remember, 8. Says so right there. Let me show you a 7-speed Pro Rush derailleur. If I hold them side by side, you can see this has a longer cage. Give you a better view. Side by side, equal length, and look at that. clearly this one has a longer cage. So note that. And also people ask if you can use a non-Pro Rush derailleur with a Pro Rush freewheel. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to get to today, someone replaced the local bike shop, replaced an 8-speed Pro Rush with a micro shift, I forget the exact name, so I'll put the name down in the description. I'm going blank on it right now. But they used a micro shift 8-speed, worked perfect. And that's a good segue into why we're talking about this today, and what puts it on the KevCentral naughty list, or the tough love list, is thinking about renaming it, because we do love our big box parts and our big box bikes. So tough love, why am I tough loving this Pro Rush setup? Well, as I mentioned, this came out in 2020. And you know, there are rare breakages that happen on anything, even very expensive products. Like say the carbon frame on that YouTube short that I made where that's cracked. And by the way, I was in a local bike shop recently, just a few days ago, and they were talking on the phone about another Trek that had a crack on the carbon frame. So just saying, it happens on even the most expensive of things. But when we're talking about Pro Rush 2020 to, I'll say, for a year and a half, up until about 6 months ago, it was all fine with this. I mean, you know, other than random issues, and it is what it is. I mean, it's not the be all end all. But for budget bikes, especially for coming from the factory, very, very happy with this. I want to reiterate that. I'm still very, very happy with what this is as a factory budget derailleur or group set. However, things can happen. You know, we've had so many substitutions of parts that we've been having across the line, not just big box, but even local bike shop brands substituting parts supposedly of equal value. But I think we're also seeing parts that are made with inferior metals versus what they have historically been made with. Take this Pro Rush derailleur. This one is almost 2 years old. It's at least a year and a half old. A brand new set that I have had. But I want you to look at this really close. You know, looks normal. Nothing outstanding here. Well, let me show you what has been happening to these. This is within the last 3 months that I have really been seeing this, but 6 months I've been getting reports. First, I started getting reports. Do I have the clutch? Clutch is off. First, I've been getting reports of the cage coming apart, jockey wheels coming out. That's not the issue with this one, but something to note because it didn't happen for the first year, year and a half. Well, I mean, it randomly happened, but not to the degree that I've been seeing it happen for the past 6 months. But the last 3 months, I've been getting something even worse than the jockey cage. And this is a byproduct of what you're about to see. But I've had multiple people that have contacted me and talked about cracks and even sent pictures. This happening. This is a metallurgical fail, in my opinion, on the Pro Rush derailleur. And I haven't seen... I know this derailleur. I know the bike that this derailleur came off of. It was an extra Schwinn Taft that I had purchased and donated to the local trail nonprofit. It had never been ridden. The first time someone got on it, tried to pedal, that snapped. And that's the exact same thing that I am hearing from others. That it's not rough riding on a trail after 6 months or whatever. It's the first time I rode it, this broke apart. It literally broke apart. And where it's breaking here, let me get all this stuff out of the way so we have a good backdrop here. A good color backdrop just to show you where this is breaking. Get it back together. Is right here. And this is where the derailleur mounts to the bike, to the derailleur hanger. So give you a better look. So the derailleur's hanging down. Move up, right up from the barrel adjuster. I've seen 2 reports of it snapping here at the barrel adjuster. First time somebody tried to adjust this, but more often than not, it's right here, just in line with the Pro Rush logo. It snaps, and again, the exact same spot. Multiple reports, the exact same spot. And you'll notice, see that? That's the thread. That's an adjustment thread right there. So I'm wondering if somehow a weakness is introduced when they're machining this. And the reason I'm making this video, this tough love. I'm not trashing the Pro Rush. I'm a big fan of the Pro Rush for what it is. I'm a big fan of it. Make videos like this because I've had companies contact me in the past. I mean, I'm in regular contact with Schwinn and Mongoose. At least historically I have been. They haven't been releasing any new big box bikes, so haven't heard much from them in a while. But Pro Rush, back in 2020, they were considering bringing this to the market as a standalone product, possibly rebranded. But 2020 hit, late 2020 or mid 2020. We know what happened in March. And haven't heard any more. The world went crazy. So hopefully, maybe at some point we'll see, because these Freewheels, these are coveted. Very, very coveted, and you can use them with other branded derailleurs. So that's coveted. Really hope they bring at least the Freewheel to the market. But as far as this goes, if you're watching Pro Rush guy that I haven't heard back from in, I don't know, a year and a half, if you're watching, something's going on. And I suspect, we've had so many substitutions, and I've talked about it before. I may have already just mentioned it. I've seen frames that have lower quality welds, not only big box, but local bike shop stuff. We've had so many substitutions. I'm thinking that maybe to save $1 or $2, the quality of this metal has maybe been reduced. Is it that, or are you cutting these threads from the factory too deep and too close to a major stress point? I don't know. All I do know is that it's not only me. This is breaking on brand new bikes, and that definitely puts Pro Rush, at least for now, on the naughty list. So get back with me. I would definitely like to hear from someone. See if we can find out why this is happening. Get a resolution for it so it doesn't happen again, because we're dealing with budget bikes. People that are buying these bikes are more likely to not have the money to repair things that break. And not only that, that's a warranty claim. Schwinn, Mongoose, you're selling the bike at Walmart. If the first time I pedal it, this snaps apart, that's going right back. That, I'm sure, comes off of your bottom line in some way, shape, or form, or Walmart. Definitely comes off yours. Even if it's warranted by the brand that sent this bike or that this was equipped on, you're still having to deal with employee time to process the return and all of that. Not to mention the environmental impact of having to have two products, two whole bikes in the place of one. So there we go. Tough love list Pro Rush. If you have encountered this issue, please comment below with it. Comment in general with what you think about this. A lot of us like these Pro Rush large Freewheels, so this may be shocking to some of you, but I share everything here on KevCentral. Don't hold anything back. It's tough love, but love nonetheless. Thank you for watching KevCentral. Have a great day.